So welcome to another podcast of Improving Your English with Pat and Rico. This is Rico in New York. And Patrick, how are things in Germany?
Hey, Rico. Things are pretty good here. As you know, we're right in the middle of the Euro Cup, and Germany has already won 2 matches. And my German counterparts here are celebrating, and it's really a positive feeling right now. Yeah. So yeah,
Great to hear. Germany. So go Germany. So next time we'll see how Germany continues to play. So Patrick, do you want to take the time to introduce the theme of the week?
Sure. Let me just introduce it. Yes. I was looking for an article to share with my students, and I just happened to come across this interesting essay about why we lie. Now, it brings up a lot of interesting points about the motivation behind lying. And Rico, have you ever heard of any stories about maybe one of your students lying about something?
Never. No,
never.
I'm actually lying right now. No, of course. And as a matter of fact, now that you mention it, this reminds me of a session I had with one of my students in which he, was honest enough to tell me that he once lied on his job application saying he speaks fluent English and was bilingual in English and his native language. And I won't name the language to keep him anonymous. But what I will say is that after he got hired, he did get the job. So I guess it did work in his favor to get the job. He immediately realized that once he had to start speaking in English, he needed support, which is why he sought me out and started taking English lessons. And I can honestly say I think he feels much more comfortable in English now and doesn't really worry about taking those calls in English. So that's
good. Yeah, and I feel the same way. A lot of my students come to me because they were able to find a job where they will be able to use English on a regular basis, and they need help from native speakers like you and me to improve. But of course, I can't say that they lied to get the job. But in general, the motivations, as this article did point out, behind lying are usually benevolent. Usually, people don't really lie to hurt others. It's usually for positive reasons that people lie. And of course, you'd have to explore this article a little bit more to understand the issues behind it, this topic of lying.
So do you want to share the resource of the week? This is kind of your discovery this week.
Well, yes, obviously, I found this article on the Wall Street Journal, and I believe the Wall Street Journal is a great resource for students at an advanced level to learn about not only business, which the Wall Street Journal is known for, but it's a great resource for just general editorials and also videos. So even if you're not an advanced student, you can look at the videos on the wallstreetjournal.com website, and we'll have the link for you later on. And actually, at this point, I'd like to say that the article has an interesting joke, and I think you're the best person to deliver it, Rico.
Absolutely. Can you, this is a perfect
go
segue.
Over the joke that we both saw in the article that we thought was funny?
Absolutely. So thanks, Patrick. Yeah, this is a perfect segue into our weekly segments of the joke of the week. So each week we like to highlight a joke and just show how humor is a great way in which we can study English, because it has, of course, a funny joke or idea, but also we can learn from a lot of the language in the joke. So this week's joke does come from the Wall Street Journal article, which we will link to in our podcast.
Yeah.
So the joke goes like this. There's a joke about a man who loses his bicycle outside his synagogue and goes to his rabbi for advice. Next week, come to services. Sit in the front row, the rabbi tells the man, and when we recite the 10 Commandments, turn around and look at the people behind you. When we get to thou shalt not steal, see who can't look you in the eyes. That's your guy. After the next service, the rabbi, who of course is curious to learn whether his advice panned out, So did it work? He asks the man. Like a charm, the man answers. The moment we got to thou shalt not commit adultery, I remember where I left my bicycle.
Yeah, that's quite a funny joke. There are a lot of cultural aspects to it too. But definitely leave us some notes if it wasn't clear to you why it was funny to Rico and I.
Absolutely. So what I want to say, one, is for those of you who are not really familiar with the Jewish faith, the rabbi, of course, is their spiritual leader. And they have services at a synagogue, which is their place of worship. In terms of the joke itself, as to why it's funny, it was because the man had committed one of the sins that one should not do, which is commit adultery or have an affair while being married. And so
let's be clear of something, Rico. It implies, the word is implies. It doesn't explicitly state it. That's what makes the joke funny. Yes, that it's not clear, but it implies that he did commit a sin at that point.
Absolutely, right? So the idea, again, as you mentioned, that it isn't always clear as to what we do or why we do what we do.
Yes.
And so that's why this joke goes so well with this theme of the week as to why we lie, because sometimes we're even oblivious, perhaps, as to why we lie, or the things or the causes for doing so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so thanks for commenting about that, Patrick. So,
no, not a problem. It's part of the show.
Absolutely.
So continue on. Let's see.
Yeah. Yes. So I wanted to end the show with the weekly time-saving technique. As you know, Patrick, and as I know very well, most of our students just don't have a lot of time to study English, especially in addition to taking class with us. They're really fully booked. They work long hours. But I do like to find those little moments of time where students can practice their English. And one of the best ways you can practice your English is by using the time you commute to work to listen to English. So this podcast is a perfect example of the kind of resource that you could listen to. Or oftentimes, for instance, the Wall Street Journal will have videos or other things that you can download or listen to. So there are many resources, but the time-saving technique is using those resources while driving your car to work. So using the listening skill as the skill you're building during that time.
Sure. Yeah, I agree completely, Rico. If you're a busy student, sometimes you aren't able to find the time to read an article or to spend time with a tutor on a regular basis. At least in this way, you can continue to build your listening skills while you are going to work or coming from work or doing anything that allows you to listen passively. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Patrick, thanks again for giving us your thoughts all the way from Germany, and we'll be sure to do it again next week. So, this is Rico signing off for Improving Your English with Pat and Rico, and please look for our podcast, which you can download and listen to in your car for more time-saving techniques. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.